Hey, I'm Digi. Do you like weird horror games? October continues with 7 more weird horror games that you can play for free or name your own price. Let's check them out. First up is Waterwomb World. It's a religiously themed game where we play a scientist studying creatures under the sea. From our lab submarine, we go out into the ocean floor area and search for samples, with the goal being to learn more about man's fall from the Garden of Eden. We have to balance the O2 in our tank with trying to find a few buried fossils and a few examples of still living aquatic creatures. If this sounds difficult, it really isn't. You can totally just retreat back to the ship as much as you need to. The game has this very grainy texture to it, which makes me think of old visual novels or something like that. The soundtrack is all ambient, not a lot of actual music here. It all combines to make a pretty creepy and unsettling atmosphere, especially if you're the kind of person who doesn't like the open ocean or the bottom of the sea. As you might expect, our search for man's fall from grace leads us to some nasty places. I recommend this game, but content warning for body horror. Next is Simsin. No, not that one. This one. We play this neon mint green colored bear fella after an unspecified incident involving one of our friends who's been out of contact for a while. We and a few friends get invited to the friend's house that they just moved into. Everybody's got bizarre names like the Jack and Phi. While looking around our friend's empty house, we stumble upon this question block describing a ritual to bring back the dead, but it requires 3 sacrifices. Hang on a minute here. 1, 2, 3? Uh-oh, time to panic. We don't seem all that perturbed by it, though. We're just standing here smiling. I enjoy the vibe of this game, but it does have a few issues here and there. For one thing, I don't know if these question blocks are placeholder graphics or if the dev really meant for it to look this way. And the game in general is just a little bit obtuse. It seems like everything is glitching out, like we're in a video game within a video game, but canonically, I don't know if this is actually true. Regardless, there's plenty of invisible little doorways and things you have to find your way into, simply by mashing your face up against the walls and hoping you find something. The game's only about 15 minutes overall, but it took me considerably longer just because I couldn't figure out what to do. Finally, there's a few translation errors here and there. I don't fault them for that, just because it's pretty clear the dev's first language is Korean. Hey look, it's Meat from Viddy Vinesauce World. I wonder if Vinny's ever played this. Check it out, but don't be afraid to look up someone else's playthrough. The next game this week is called Dumb Treasure. I have no idea why it's called that. This game really reminds me of some of those old Newgrounds Flash point-and-click games from like back in the day. You know, the kind that would always have like a jump scare somewhere and they were ultra violent for like no reason. Those games were actually creepy as hell and they wanted to be. Well, this game doesn't have any ultra violence in it, but it does plunk you down in a weirdly unsettling place made of real life pictures, and then it just kind of lets you wander around. The intro has somebody speaking to us in character. We're asked to find some kind of artifact under the bed and then present it to someone's mom. Boy, sure could use a vacuum under here, huh? Every so often you'll come up against an item you can take and that'll help you unlock something somewhere else. I will say the atmosphere in this one is weirdly unsettling with the ambient background track. I also want to give the game credit for how much work it took to make a different mess over and over just to get a picture for each room of the game. This game took me no more than 15 minutes, but I'm not sure if there's actually one or more ending or not. Check it out if you're looking for a Newgrounds throwback. Next is Stowaway. I picked this game for the aesthetics and the graphics. It jumped right out to me, and to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen anything that looks quite like this. The game is basically just a retelling of the film Alien, except in a fairly short video game form. We work on a space station, and we get this distress signal from an incoming ship, whose autopilot allows it to dock in one of our landing bays. Sure enough, when we board the vessel to see why there is no response from the crew, we find out they've all been wiped out by some creature. We meet in the boardroom where we're told to investigate the engine rooms to try and find our missing engineer. I know exactly how this is gonna go. By the way, I like the way the dev made each main character their own color like this. It's interesting looking. The rest of the game isn't really anything I'd call new or innovative, but it's a good time, clocking in at about 35 minutes to finish. The game goes just about how you'd expect it to in terms of story. We even get a love interest. Oh, okay, never mind. Weirdly, I didn't die once. I'm not sure if it's actually just a very easy game, it's more about the experience, or if you actually can't die. I do recommend this game if you need a short sci-fi horror fix. Just a fair warning though, there's a fair amount of strobe lights in this game, so if you're photosensitive, maybe pass this one up. Next is Haunted Cities Volume 2. I was debating just making this a bonus or something, but I decided to change the title from 7 more games to 8 more games. Last time I brought up the Haunted Cities Collection Volume 1 by Kitty Horror Show on itch. These games are a collection of exploration experiences that were previously locked behind a Patreon. Volume 2 doesn't have as many games that truly feel like horror experiences to me, but real quick I just wanted to call out 2 of them from this volume. In Monastery, we find ourselves in a creepy brick building, looking behind doors and reading notes. It feels similar to some of the previous games in that these trees and this weird statue is a flat instead of a 3D model. It looks like there might be some kind of body horror sickness going on because they euthanized one of their own members who had become crawling and helpless. Again, I assume it's possible to actually complete these games, but I could never figure out how. The other game, Scarlet and Bough, looks to be an homage to Silent Hill. We can go into plenty of buildings, but I couldn't figure out what to do with them. You can also break these mirrors, which causes a counter to appear in the upper corner, but I wasn't able to figure out anything else. This gazebo thing has some stones. They look like they do something, but what? I don't know. Hey, if you discover anything that I couldn't, please let me know in the comments. Next game, Carcass. We're getting into some yucky stuff here. The game starts out with a number of soldiers walking through this blasted desert area. Cut to ourselves in this creepy giant thing with no face. Apparently this thing is our boss, and we're told to help out with the creation it's working on. How? First we eat lots of cadaver parts, avoiding the rotten pieces from this dispenser here. Then we grow tentacles and have to catch invisible bugs. Finally, we have this syringe that we inject into this poor prisoner. This is one of those games where you do the same thing every day for 3 or 4 days before the big reveal happens. In this way, it's kind of repetitive, but I think it has a nice atmosphere. Where are we? Why are we? What's going on in this world? I have no idea. It's more of a vibe than anything. This game took about 25 minutes, but you could certainly do it faster if you hustle. Next up is Birdhouse. Here we have another RPG Maker game. We play Wick, a kid who has horns for some reason. We wake up in our house and spend each day doing various chores for our mother, who's one of those disembodied voice in the other room type characters. Well, at least at first. For some reason, our front door resembles the apartment from Silent Hill 4. So there's not much to do, except walk around the house or the backyard, but not until we've done our chores. Conveniently in our to-do list. During a rainstorm, we find a big creepy egg and we decide to take it in to make sure it stays alright. All the while, we keep finding pages somebody dropped describing deities, which in this game are similar to gods, but they can lose their power and disappear if not enough people believe in them. The art in this game is very nice, with what I assume are hand-drawn assets that combine to give a generally cute aesthetic. A lot of effort was put into this, as you can see. The game's a bit longer, taking something like 45 minutes to finish, but I do recommend this one because it's a bit more unique than the kind of fare you'll usually find for free on Steam. Last game for this video, we have Stain. This game is a little bit gross, not gonna lie. We start out on the street but soon find ourselves at Stain Financial. We're here to apply for a job. Why is this building's hallway so long? Excuse me, I don't know how to get to— Whoa! I am literally not pressing anything here. This is just how the game is. So this is the boss, M. Stain himself. Picture of himself, behind himself. Borderline narcissism. He asks us to pick a chair, and then asks us to make a couple of choices. I'm not really sure if these choices actually have an impact on anything. We have 5 seconds to sign our offer, and then we're whisked away to a club to celebrate. This scene makes me feel like I'm back in Persona 4. This game is actually a lot more sexual than I was expecting. So much so that I actually had to stop in the middle of streaming it just because I thought I might get myself in trouble. The bar we get taken to has plenty of pixelated nudity on the wall pictures. And there's a segment where we have to watch a video in a booth, and it's all really sus. But suffice it to say that this game kinda mixed that sort of thing with cult sacrifice. Also, holy crap, this game has combat. It's not very polished, but it's not difficult either. Overall, this is really one of the weirder ones tonight, so check it out if it looks like you might find it interesting. Just know it's a little bit more for adults. Well, that's it. 8 more horror games you can play for free or name your own price. Hey, consider subscribing if I entertained you at all. You can also watch me play weird games live during the week on Twitch. Right now we're knee-deep in horror games for October, but we'll take it in other directions next month. Alright, that's it. See you next time.